Hello and welcome to Book Talks with Sandy. This is a night of special edition of Book Talks with Sandy. What is it? It is a platform for authors, anthology book projects. And most of all, I say that it is for you. I'm so elated to have you here with us on Book Talks with Sandy tonight. And this is a special edition. It is also yes, our time to be able to just share about some events that are taking place in the month of April. And so, again, we had an amazing month of acknowledging women all over the world. We just came out of women's history as well as International Women's Month. And so we had an amazing month acknowledging all of the great work that women are doing in the earth. So it is without further ado that we will bring on these phenomenal women. And I'm so excited to have with me tonight our guest of this beautiful, amazing book. The book is called From Trauma to Drama to Truth. And who are we talking about? The visionary author, their number one bestsellers. Definitely, we're making the international bestsellers list the next go round. But I am talking about the phenomenal, yes, Valerie C. Thompson. Hi, Valerie. How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I am great. I am so happy to have you all here with me on today. And let me say, I just want to kind of, bring everybody up to speed. This book here is a number one Amazon bestseller, and you are the visionary author. So before we actually get into the dialogue, you brought some friends with you, you brought some contributing authors. And so we want everyone to take a moment and share this with your community. As I always tell you all, share it with your friends, your tribe, those groups that you're a part of. Take a moment and yes, tag one of, I would say not just one. I challenge you, tag about 5 friends of yours, okay? All right, so we're going to take a moment while you all do that. And I just want to have a quick dialogue. Valerie, what you been up to?
Wow. Working on this book, just very thankful that it's out there. Thankful for the co-authors, and pretty much that's it. Kind of resting right now.
Yeah.
After this.
Yeah. And the book has been released, and so we're going to get into some dialogue. But you will be sharing with us about the journey of, as this book title is, it's from trauma to drama to truth. And we'll dig a little deeper about that. Well, you do have some amazing ladies with you on tonight. And I want to say hi to Lisa and hi to Tarina. Hi, how both of you are.
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. Lisa, so how did you come about meeting this phenomenal lady, Miss Valerie? And you all will have a signature question a little bit, which is why you said yes to the book project. But how are you? How are you doing? And this journey of doing this book project?
So I had the pleasure of meeting Valerie through, I believe, the social media. She answered an ad I had for home ownership, and then we connected. We started talking about everything, I think, outside of home ownership, and we ended up connecting on a personal level. And so when she asked me to do this, because we talked a lot about personal things, we talked a lot about trauma. We talked about a lot of our history, and we had a lot of similarities. So again, we connected on a personal level. She called for one thing, and we ended up connecting on a personal level. So when she asked me to do this, I said yes immediately.
All right. So absolutely. And so Tarina, if you will, just share with us.
Hello, everyone. Yes, I met Valerie through Declare Victory. There's a prayer call that happens every morning at 6
Okay.
a.m. So that's how I met Valerie.
Okay. So it's through a prayer call. So you all are definitely connected in the spirit, and so you praying together even before the book project takes place.
Right.
They-
Right.
Wow. What I'm going to do is, Valerie, I would like for you to just kind of bring us up to speed. I want to get, yes, there she is. And another co author has joined us, and I want to go ahead and bring her on. And that is Ramona. Ramona, hi, Ramona. How are you?
Oh, mute. Hi, you guys.
Hi.
Hey,
Hi, Ramona.
How you doing?
we're good. We're good.
I'm sorry, you guys. It took me a minute, but I got it. I got on.
Yeah, you are on. And those of you that are friends of our visionary author and the contributing authors, we are on Coffee Conversations with Sandy and Friends page. So I want to give them an opportunity to get there and share it out to their family and their friends. Okay. So I want to give you all an opportunity to do this.
Okay.
And while you're doing that, we're going to say hello to our guests that are behind the scenes. And it is Johanna, all the way from St. Croix. And Johanna is a favorite. She is a regular supporter of Book Talks with Sandy, also an international speaker, global speaker, right out of the islands, and business entrepreneur. So thank you so much, Johanna, for joining us on tonight. And yes, she's tagging some friends as well. Thank you. And Brenda, thank you so much. You're always a number one supporter. Listen, I always tell everyone, and I promise you, Brenda, you're gonna have to send me an inbox. Brenda is my Apollo person that sits in the front. You remember the Apollo back in the day? And I always say is that she is my Apollo cheerleader, and she is always here no matter when I'm broadcasting. Brenda, she is amazing. So I give her always kudos. I always honor her whenever she comes on. So yes. So take your time, everyone, and take time. We are on Coffee Conversations with Sandy and Friends. And so at this time, Johanna says, yes, she's letting some people know that we are on. Well, okay, so let's dive a little deep in the book, and then we're going to come back to Ramona. But I want to share a little bit about the visionary author, Valerie C. Thompson. Who is she? And it's just a motto. Valerie, and I'll let you share a little bit more about who you are and what you do and about your podcast and the other books that you're a part of. But one thing I love about what speaks, I think says so much about you, is that you said, I was created to encourage, inspire, and uplift the masses. At this time, what I want to introduce our audience to you that may not know you, who have never met you before, and just not familiar with your work and the great work that you're doing out in California. So share with us what you're doing social media wise, and even out, and what you're all about and what you do.
Thank you. Again, thank you, Sandy. My name is Valerie C. Thompson. I was created to encourage, inspire, and uplift. I am a servant of God. I am a woman who is here to create change, right? So, meaning I know that every single thing that I have been through in my life is part of purpose. I say God created us to move in purpose, on purpose for God's huge purpose. And so the journey that I've been on is really about me owning my truth. And when I say that, who am I? Why am I here? Why did God create me? And God gave me that vision, own your truth and rise. So when we know who and whose we are, we're able to walk in purpose. Yeah. So outside of that, I am a mother, I am a grandmother, I'm a sister, I am a friend. And I'm someone who I know has been called to, and again, encourage, inspire, and uplift the masses, and mainly women. And just as Lisa said, so I connected with her because there were some things that we had in common, right? And I believe everyone on this platform we have something in common. And
Yeah.
so for me, I love to write. I love to write. I've been
Do
journaling.
you?
I've been journaling since the age of 15.
Okay.
And so watching my journaling turn from negativity, depression, and everything that was dark to positivity, faith, light, and vision. And I
Mhm.
say vision because I was in a place that I didn't want to be in. And I had to believe something. I had to find an anchor. And so I took that faith. And I say Hebrews 11:1, faith is being sure of what I hope for and certain of what I do not yet see. So I say that I had to have some faith. I had to dig deep, right? And find something to get me from where I was to where I wanted to be. And I understood that where I was a place I took from my childhood, some trauma. So unresolved childhood trauma turns into adult drama. And I was living that. And so I had to go on this self-discovery journey. I had to go on this in-depth healing journey so that I can go from a place that I no longer wanted to be, or how about I outgrew, to another place. And so God began to give me a vision. And I knew that I had to connect with people that were doing something different. I had to get out of my comfort zone. And that is, I guess that's how I kind of met you, because what I met Don Leakey, and that was the first book that I was in, Finally Free.
And that book,
second
right?
book, excuse me.
Yes, that book was, I think, the propeller or the benchmark of all of you all that were part of that amazing book project. We kudos to Dawn. Matter of fact, your co-author is on, and I've got to say, we got to say a great big hello to Dr. Renee Mentor. Yes, all the way from New York. So we've got the East Coast and the West Coast, but yes, this phenomenal woman, Dr. Mentor. I am so glad you popped up, because listen, I was about ready to take an airplane all the way to New York and find out how is my friend. Okay, so listen, we are so excited to see you pop in tonight.
Yes.
And I believe it is Cecilia has come on, and she says, good night, ladies. And thank you for inviting Johanna. Johanna has invited her. So this discussion tonight is again about overcoming the areas of trauma, and then trauma to drama. Let's take those two. Okay, so I'd like to, where did the title come from? And then we, Charita, I want you to get ready. And we're going to also bring in, Matthew is in the green room. So Matthew, we're going to go ahead and bring you on. There you are, sir. Welcome. Welcome.
Hey.
Hey, Matthew.
Hello. Hi. So yes, where did the title come from? And then we're going to, Trina, I want you to pick up where your contribution to this book. Okay, and Trina, Valerie.
So the title came from a place of reliving my childhood. So basically, I was in a toxic relationship, domestic violence, and one day I realized I'm repeating my childhood, and that's what God gave me, setting the captive free. We all have that inner child. If you've been through some type of trauma, you have that inner child that needs to be healed, and so that's where the title came from trauma and drama. Again, unresolved childhood trauma turns into adult drama.
Wow. Yes.
And so again, coming from that, but understanding my truth. My truth is I do have the power to heal from within. The truth is I can rise and I can be free of drama. I can be free of toxic relationships. I can be free of self-doubt and pity and being the victim or whatever. That's where it came from me. And so when God gave me the vision, I specifically reached out to some people that I thought would be who I thought would say yes, because I do believe that as we write about what we've experienced, there's freeing in that. We're able to be free, and transparency also helps other people. So when we're transparent and we share our stories, someone else can relate to that and say, oh my gosh, if he or she has been through that and look at them today, I can be free as well. Our stories are not just for ourselves. Again, the trials and tribulations that we endure, that we face, they come to make us stronger. They build our character. And then it's a testimony that we have for someone else. And so I figured, like, these people are great. Like, I love everyone that said yes. They have powerful stories and powerful shares.
Yes, they do. And that we're going to go ahead and bring on contributing author Trina on. And before I bring you on, I just want to share with the audience, you did a dedication to anyone in this book. The book is dedicated to anyone who has endured the childhood drama. And so when you have endured and then you come and you're able to share that childhood trauma, which as you said, turn into adult drama. Trauma does not discriminate, nor does it regulate. And you've written to us in your dedication, however, it hits us fast and slow to mess with our flow. I love it. And without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring on contributing author Trina Jackson. Trina, share who you are, what you do, and what made you say yes to this book project.
Hello, everyone. My name is Trina Jackson, and I am licensed and ordained evangelist, and I love to serve. I'm a caregiver also, and the first time co-author of a book. So I'm so excited! Yay! My contribution is childhood. It all started when I was really 5 years old and under, when I was attacked from the enemy, from fear. So yeah, and the generation curses that passed down from from my parents.
Yes.
I was born into my parents was 18 years old when they had me, and So let me go back, and I'm from Los Angeles, California. I was raised in Watts and Compton, California, and I moved to the Bay Area in May of 1990.
Awesome. And so what you're contributing is you're able to share, as you said, you were born of teenage parents. They were only 18 years old. Again, mentally, I would think, they were kids themselves. Right. And so you're now able, through everything, you recognize the spiritual side, you recognize the we're talking spiritual. Everyone, when we talk about the enemy, we're talking about Satan, the devil himself, okay? And the attacks that he can come against families, that he can come against our own lives. And so your story is phenomenal. I want to touch on the basis of the fact that, yes, you're a licensed evangelist. And so being able now to share your story, how God has empowered you to share that. Come on, let's tap into that. How you feel empowered, that God's word is saying you are who you are. So you're going to put it down on paper. Come on. I want to hear that.
Here.
Yeah.
Hear how God all started, or
how you, in that time of saying, yes, I'm going to put it on paper, but trusting the God in you, because you're stepping boldly in that office as an evangelist and sharing, and we go out to spread the gospel. And so you're taking this time now to let others know, yes, I'm an evangelist, but I went through some things, and I'd like for you to share with the audience how that empowerment feels now, sharing your story, just as we do when we preach the gospel.
If I feel enlightened, grateful to share my story, because I have my story as a child is so complex. Like I said, it all started from childhood, right, and it went to teenage, and to adults. So in the environment that I was born in and everything,
Yeah.
from loss of a child. So I have a lot of traumatic events that happened to my life. So I really want to see people healed from, from trauma, and, and be set free and delivered.
And I love that. And because you have been set free, and we don't want to keep our freedom to ourselves. Is that, I think we all can say that, is that I need you to know how I got my freedom. I haven't always been this way, but I want you to know how I got my freedom. I love that, Evangelist. Yes, indeed. I'm going to now call, thank you so much. I want to now call on Ramona. Welcome to Book Talks with Sandy's table. Thank you so much. Your contribution to the book. What made you say yes? And share with us who you are and what, why you said yes to the book. And then we'll come back with some other questions.
Okay. I can start. Who am I? Well, I'm a servant. I'm an ambassador. That's who I connect myself as, who I am far as in the ministry, wise. I'm a chef, I'm a mother. I have many titles when it comes to that, but most of all, I love that my title is I am the daughter of Zion. I am his daughter. I love having that title. So that is one of my favorite titles. And how I came on for the book, of course, Valerie had reached out to me. And I'm believing this from hearing some of maybe my testimony, my comments or whatnot, and my cry that I've had on Declare Victory that gave her, or the Holy Spirit led her to ask me.
Yes, ma'am.
But as for me to say yes, immediately when I prayed about it, it was just clear of how he was showing me that it was for me. It was for me. I needed this. I needed to get this out. I needed to release the shame, the rejection, the things that I was holding on to from my trauma, that I was holding on to as I must just say childhood and throughout, because the trauma started in my childhood, but when I think back over my life, I because of that, I opened a lot of doors where it was a lot of more trauma. So it definitely, for me, it was an opportunity to help another sister or brother who have been violated at such a young age like I was, and to let them know that they are more than conquerors, that that's not who they are. And when he showed me that I could be used in that way, I just made sure that I responded. And I'm gonna be honest, I gave up a lot, but I'm so grateful that he made sure that I saw it through.
That is amazing. I love what you're saying is that you wrote so others could know your story and that it was freedom for you. And is this everyone's first time as a writer?
Yes, it is.
And Matthew shaking his head no, but you all, okay. All right. So Matthew, okay. All right. So, but is it your first, but okay. So you've been writing, but to now, I need you all. We're gonna give God a great big hallelujah. Thank you, Jesus.
Okay,
because you are #1 best sellers. That's big.
Glory be to God.
What I do
He is an amazing God.
I'm sitting.
He is worthy.
Yes. So we give
Thank
God
you,
all
Jesus.
the glory. I celebrate,
Yes.
embrace it, celebrate it. Now, Mr. Matthew, okay, so you've been a writer. So we're gonna let you. You're the only male lip in here. So, and then I promise Lisa, I'm going to come over to you. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes, and everyone else.
I'm doing well.
He shook his head. Tell us, okay, who you are and how you came about being in this amazing book with these phenomenal women and sharing your story.
All right. So I'm actually the publisher behind the book and co-author. I am a domestic violence and sexual assault advocate and counselor. So I help women that's been through domestic violence and sexual assault how to heal and empower themselves on a day-to-day basis and move on from the past and let it go. And it always starts off with being either molested or abused during your childhood. So I
Yeah.
take them back to their childhood and we relive those painful memories and that trauma, and we work through it and we learn how to forgive and we learn how to heal and become a better them. So a lot of people get stuck with being with that past. I've been there, I've been hurt, I've been molested, everything, but I didn't let that define who I am today. I had to learn how to release and forgive those people that harmed me, that hurt me, that I trusted. So I moved on from that. So I, when Valerie reached out, it was of course a yes, because my that was my test.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's my testimony. Now it's for somebody else. What I went through wasn't for me. It was for somebody else to go through because I was strong enough to go through what I went through. I'm
I
not
love
that. No, I'm not who I used to be. I'm a whole new person. I've been
Yeah.
reborn.
Amen.
So I work with women on a day-to-day basis, and reading everyone's story in this book, it took me through a different process because I had to read their stories over and over again to edit it and format it. And I connected with each one of these ladies, and some of them I don't know. I can't pick them up out of a lineup, but I know their story. I
You know the
felt what
story.
they went through,
Yeah.
but I also felt that healing that they had as they went through it.
Yes.
So this journey was very powerful.
I want to talk to you and Valerie together. How you both came together. You said yes. She reached out to you. She said yes. But when did you get the yes from God? When did you know that this was going to be the match?
When I also published another book that Valerie was in, and then I was
Okay.
also on her podcast, being the first man on her podcast. So since day one, it was a yes.
Wow.
We
So
crossed paths
you
for a
knew in
reason.
your spirit, you knew you had those, it's kind of like, okay, God, I keep bumping into this person. There's something there. We don't quite know. Valerie, you shaking your head. Tell me what it was with you.
It's so funny. So as I'm listening to you talk, right, and so you mentioned the podcast, and I just have to go back, and you told me to introduce myself, right? So there are things that I do, I don't even realize that I do it, if that makes sense. I'm doing them. So like with the podcast, right? The advocacy for domestic violence, right? So everybody that I meet, I always feel like there's a purpose. One of my prayers is always, the people that you put in my path right now, let it be for a purpose. So with all of these people that I have met, there's always there was a connection. Again, like Lisa said, I reached out to her for something, for one thing, but I believe God had a bigger vision, and I'm gonna let her share something about even the vision that God gave her relating to me after this book. So even with Matthew, there's a connection. We're not done. We're not done, and even with Tarina, there was another connection. And I don't know whatever God is going to do with me and Moxie Mona, outside of the prayer call. You feel, some people you meet, you feel like a kindred spirit. That's how I feel right now with the people that I'm coming across on this journey, because again, it's about purpose. It's not about me, and it's about being open. It's about being a servant. So I'm very grateful that I do listen to the Holy Spirit. So with these beautiful, phenomenal men and women of God that I've crossed paths with, this is just the beginning. There's more to come.
Yes.
There's always something else.
I believe too is that there's more individuals in the body of Christ that the enemy is holding them hostage.
Absolutely.
They're still not as free as they would like to be. And that's why books like this are necessary. I really believe that what you're doing, and each of these are believers. Each of your authors, you all are believers, and God has brought you and knitted you together to be able to reach the masses, to
Mhm.
reach individuals that may never go to church.
Right.
They may never evangelize. They may never set feet in the four walls, but that book, they'll see it in a store or they'll see it online and think about, hold up, I know I had some trauma in my life. I know I had trauma and drama. Why do I respond the way that I respond? Why do I hold things in and I'm not as open? So all of those, as you were saying, is that's a new term for me of really listening as you are talking, is that those trauma can take you into adult drama. That's so important.
Mhm.
And it's so key, like you said, is that your journey, you connect with individuals, and it's all part of the purpose, all part of the plan.
Mhm.
And so that is amazing. And you're getting the congratulations. Gloria is saying congratulations. And of course, Dr. Mentor, she has said that's wonderful. So many need to hear this. And that is so true. Those of you that are tuning in just now, y'all seen that Sandy is on tonight, Book Talks with Sandy. This is a special edition of Book Talks with Sandy, and we are on with the #1 best-selling author, visionary author, excuse me, yes, Valerie Thompson. And many of you may know Valerie as a contributing author of several books, Women Who Pray. There is the Finally Free Project. And yes, and she has her own visionary project. You know her as a podcaster. And so we're so excited to have Valerie on tonight with a few of the contributing authors of the amazing book that is called Trauma, from Trauma to Drama to Truth. Now, you have been defining, and before we go into our next part, I'm kind of adjusting myself in my seat here, but I'm going to do a sponsorship commercial, and then we're going to come back and let's go ahead and dive into the drama, how we as adults respond because that trauma has not been dealt with. And I'd like for you all to remember that, how we as adults respond because the trauma has not been dealt with. Okay. At this time, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and let's hear from our sponsor. Our sponsor is Swag Her Magazine. Swag Her Magazine is a international magazine, and yes, you can find them on Facebook, you can find them on Instagram, you can find it in print, and you can find it digital. I'm going to share my screen at this time, and yes, our sponsor, which is Swag Her Magazine. Okay.
Greetings all, it's Fancy, and I'm the award-winning publisher and editor-in-chief of Swagger Magazine, which is an empowerment and lifestyle publication for the Black community. But did you guys know that we also double as a PR boutique? Yes, we strategically execute brand campaigns for Black women-led businesses, coaches, authors, and girl bosses so that they can receive more visibility and establish themselves as an authority. We do so through a mix of PR, marketing, and branding. If you would like to learn more about our services, schedule a consult with us at swagger.net.
Thank you. And Swag Her Magazine. Listen, if you all are looking for a great magazine to read and that is global, you want to go and find Swag Her Magazine. You can find them online. You can also, in that Swag, SWAGHER Magazine, you can find them online, in print, on Instagram, Facebook, and other social media outlets. So now you are, as we continue our conversation, yes, Dr. Joe Harris is on. Hi, Dr. Joe. How you doing? Yes, indeed. Thank you so much for joining us. And then Catherine, I believe that she is on. Ramona, she's letting you know that she is so proud of all of you, especially her sister Ramona. And yes, thank you, Catherine, for joining us on tonight. And thank you, and share that out. You are with us tonight, and we are with the visionary author of the book From Trauma to Drama to Truth. And we are with, yes, the phenomenal Valerie C. Thompson and the authors. And so, Valerie, as we pick back up now, we're talking about us as adults, if we've had trauma in our lives and we're not aware, then we have this drama and how we respond to things. Can you tap into that? And each of you, I would like for your comments and how you have identified of how you respond to things as an adult, knowing that there was not knowing that that it was trauma, but now how you respond.
Right. Sandy, before I answer that, Lisa didn't speak. We got to hear from Lisa. She didn't introduce
Lisa,
herself.
I'm sorry. Lisa, you're so quiet over there. Come on.
We got to hear from Lisa first.
Yes, we do. Come on,
Look,
Lisa.
Valerie, I know Valerie wasn't gonna let me get away with that because she always just sat here and wouldn't say nothing.
Absolutely.
I was
And
like, okay, good. They passed me up. I got it.
and the camera is on you. Take it away, my lady.
All right.
She's a speaker. She's a speaker, so she got to speak.
Oh,
Well, my name is
absolutely.
Lisa Trunell. My name is Lisa Trunell. I'm a Bay Area native. I've been in the Oakland, San Francisco Bay Area all my life. I grew up here. I, got into this project with Valerie. I immediately said yes because I had been looking for ways. I don't live my trauma or my story in public. People that know me personally knew my story, but I never really talked about it to people that didn't know me. So for me, this was a coming out per se, right? Mm-hmm. It was very therapeutic. I was able to outline a lot of my own behaviors and start it was actually the catalyst for me to start the second part of my healing from my childhood trauma. So I was very honored to be asked to do this. It helped me a lot personally. It also helped ignite a passion because I always wondered why I needed to experience all these things. What was the whole purpose of it? Like, why did I have to go through this? Like, you know what I mean? So, but I realized that over the years that I've always been a magnet or a resource to other people that have had these kind of traumas and have been able to like give them information seamlessly on how to, move on to the next level. So.
Awesome. I love how each of you are just acknowledging the healing process, this book and the healing process. And as you were saying, is that this is the second stage of your healing. Did I grab that part right?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
The first stage was, for me, external healing.
Okay.
The trauma sent me into some different areas in my life. I talk about it in the book, but the trauma sent me into some different areas of my life. And so externally, I did a lot of work. I started businesses. I got education. I made certain amounts of, it was all monetary.
Yeah.
All the exterior stuff, I
got you.
Did all the stuff that looks like you're healed and you're doing good and all this kind of stuff. But on the inside, it wasn't right. I wasn't happy. And I still found myself making a lot of trauma-based decisions that I couldn't understand why I was doing that. But
my goodness.
Yeah, actually dissecting this and writing this and looking at it on paper, I was able to see the connection and see this is where all this came from and all of the similarities and the pieces just fell together. So for me, like I said, it's just the beginning for me. It's not the end, it's actually the beginning. So I'm on a whole nother trajectory right now. And it started with this, being able to outline and see, where my shortcomings were.
I love it. And I was saying, oh my goodness, to the part where you said something that was so key is that we, as many individuals will have it all together. Well, family looks good. The work looks good. I speak well. I dress well, have obtained the financial wealth and all of that, but all on the inside, it's just broken. Mm-hmm. I'm broken and I'm messed up. And so that is really, really good. That's why I said, Valerie, people, this book is going to reach people. You know how many people are needing that kind of information. And so this book is a collaboration of various trauma things that people have gone through. And that's what I'm loving about this book project. So as we go, and I think Lisa kind of put us in that direction that we were going to, how you respond to drama, not knowing that it stems from where you came from as a child?
Addictions,
Yeah.
bad relationships, toxic relationships,
Mm-hmm.
domestic violence, mental problems, financial problems, being promiscuous. There's a multitude. And,
Yeah.
and most of that stuff that people experience, those kind of things, they all come from childhood trauma. Even when a lot of folks say, oh, well, I didn't have any child. I was in another speaking engagement, and one person said, I didn't have any childhood trauma, but she started to talk about how the kids would tease her at school and talk about her hair and talk about her clothes and all these things. And then she ended up on drugs, and then she ended up sleeping with every guy that she can come in contact with. But she swore she had a good life when she grew up because she wasn't sexually assaulted. So she felt like she didn't have any trauma. She didn't realize that her being teased and ridiculed by her classmates and peers was the catalyst for her growing up with self-esteem issues, with low self-esteem issues and low confidence issues, would end up getting her on drugs, would end up getting her in these bad relationships, and then on to having HIV. So her whole life. So, but in her mind, she had no issues. She had nothing, because we don't look at trauma. We don't always look at trauma as sexual assault. It's other things that go on, right? It's not just physical abuse, it's mental abuse, it's verbal abuse, it's toxic environments. It's watching your parents, your mom get beat up, you know what I mean? And all different things. So, we have to understand and identify that I can just about every trauma comes from childhood. It comes from your childhood.
Yeah.
It definitely does.
That's good. The book, your introduction, as you share with anyone that picks up this book, you say, are you ready to walk in your purpose? That's a question. And so I want to ask each of you, beginning with Trina, and then we're going to go to Matthew, who is the publisher of this book. Are you a contributing writer as well? You're a contributing writer in this project, Matthew? Oh, okay.
Yes.
All right, great. So the question is purpose. Did you find this purposeful, Trina, in doing this book project?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I do find it purposes. It helps me to get it out, what I went through, to bring other people out of trauma. Yeah.
And what would be one of those purpose? What would be the purpose that your intent, that when they read your story, your purpose would be to help deliver them, and just in your own words, what you wrote, just a snippet of what would be the purpose of helping them?
The purpose of is to see that what I went through, they can come out of it too. And then to know that they need that healing. Lisa just talked about the bullying. I was part of a bullying from school, where my name was, they couldn't pronounce my name. I was physical hit, things like that. So my purpose is for my chapter is to see that they can, first they got to know that they have the trauma, and that they can be healed and they can be delivered from that. Especially a lot of people have low self-esteem. They don't know their identity, who they are in Christ. So hope.
That's good.
Yeah, that's my hope, is for them to be,
Yeah, I love it how you're saying that a lot of people, they don't know who they are in Christ. They don't know the love and the reason why Christ died on the cross for them, that they don't have to suffer or walk around with the low self-esteem. God said that he did fearfully and wonderfully make us, and that we are we are his daughters, the daughters of Zion. We're talking to women and men, but to know that what has happened to us is part of the journey, but it doesn't have to dictate our destiny. And so that's so important. And thank you for sharing that, because those that may not know that your story can help win them to Christ. And so as you share what you've gone through, that's amazing. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much. Mr. Matthew, so you're reading the stories. Did you have to, and you and Valerie, y'all are having this conversation, did you have to tell them to dig a little bit deeper? Okay, from the visionary author part.
We had to go back and revisit a few things with the book, and a lot of them, they did touch on a lot of the good points in their lives, and gave everybody the outline to, from beginning to end. We really want these stories and to let people know what we've been through. This is your release. This is your time to let people know you. This is your time to share your story of healing. It's all about healing. So when I was getting ready to put the book on, upload it on Amazon, I had to think to myself, what can I put as the description to grab people's attention? So I called Valerie, Walking in Your Purpose. I talk to people every day about walking in your purpose, because we only have one life to live. Life is only for a moment. So you have to live in your purpose, walk in your destiny, and become who you are truly meant to be in this life.
Well, certainly did it. You did it. And certainly you did it. And even when you let us, as we see it for the first time, and it's a question, it's kind of like you have to pause. And so when you're, if those of you that may know an individual, and listen, if you really, I want to say, to put this out there, if you really, really want to be set free, this is one of those books. Having the authors be transparent with their hurt, with their pain, with the trauma that they've dealt with the drama from the past, as you have written. And one of the key things, we're going to talk about how these women and men are walking in their fulfilling and their destiny. As you said, let's live your truth. It's there. You can't hide it. You can't get away from it. And sometimes it keeps showing up until you actually deal with it. And that's what you all have done. It kept showing up, and now you've dealt with it. You put it on paper, and now you're ready to move on to the next phase. And so continue if you can, Mr. Matthew, because sometimes things will hit me like that and I got to get it out, but go ahead.
So just working with these ladies and working on this book, it really helped, a lot of people. And just even it being a bestseller, every book that we've published under the publishing company has hit #1 bestseller in 1, 2, maybe 6 categories. I myself am a 6-time best-selling author, 2-time international best-selling author. So I know how to market books, how to get them in, so people to download them and read these books and be that person. Because when somebody else writes a book, it's going to capture your attention. When you read the book from cover to cover, there's healing, there's a release, because a lot of people don't know they've been through trauma. They either suppressed it or tried to just forget about it completely. But once they read somebody else's story, they realize, oh, I've been through that. But I realize I'm still stuck in it. So as they keep on reading the stories that's in the book, they learn how to move on and heal and become a better them.
That's good. That's good, to be a better them. That is amazing. I love it. Thank you so much. I want to now go ahead and let's see, Valerie. So what else you got coming up with this book tour, the author tour? And then we're going to go on over to Ramona. What else you got going on?
So honestly, currently I don't have anything going on. Let me tell you why. Last year I had to get out of my comfort zone. Totally. And so I realized I was so busy. Then I realized how tired I was. So the reality is, I think this is the first one, or maybe the second one that we've had. Doesn't mean that God is done. Because I've definitely talked about some things, especially now that we, may be able to start meeting more in person.
Yes.
Again, I just wait for God to plant those seeds, wait for the vision. But one thing I want everyone to know, this project came for two reasons. One, I believe for the healing, not just for me, but for everyone in it, more healing. The other part of it was God gave me a vision. Also, it was a way that I could create. And I share this because I'm talking to the woman who may feel stuck. I'm talking to the woman who may be in domestic violence and thinks that she doesn't have a way out. This was also another means to create income. Just hear me, because we sometimes are in a position and we think we can't do this. We think we can't do that when we're stuck. But when God starts speaking to you, there are things that you can do when you tap into your creativity. And I say this because each and every person here, and outside of Matthew, because I know he's doing a whole lot of things, but I'm talking to Trina. There's so much in her. See, that's because God speaks to me about purpose. There's so much in her that I see. So I know she's a speaker. There's so much in Mona that I see, and she's doing a whole lot of things. There's so much in Trina in Lisa that I see. So I feel like this is also part of what God has put in me as far as that whole purpose. I see purpose in people. And I know that I'm drawn to help bring out some things. So this is part of that. So again, there may be plenty of things that come from this. Yeah. There could be a conference. There could be a part 2. It's not done. We're one body connected, many parts, and we all have something to give. We all have something to share. There's a wealth of wisdom, of knowledge, of creativity, of passion, of power. There's so many characteristics that's in all of us that are waiting to be birthed. That's how I feel right now. Yeah. And I'm very grateful to be here and I say this, and then I'll be quiet. I say this because there was a time when I would have never thought that I would be a visionary over a book, let alone be a co-author in a book based on my trauma, based on my drama. And so I want people to know you got to step out of your comfort zone. You got to believe in something greater than what you see. You have to have a faith that you can hold on to, that's going to allow you to come out of whatever temporary situation and circumstance that you're in. You got to believe in something greater. And I'm here to say there are things that I did, but I had to get out of my comfort zone. And I'm still getting out of my comfort zone.
I love it. I love it. Ramona, you're shaking your head. Come on. Okay. You're shaking your head because you can agree with a lot of what Valerie is saying. Share your thoughts.
Oh, wow. So agree with you. And first, let me just say this real quick. Part 2, let's claim it, you guys. Let's claim it, because ever since I had written, just ever since we written the chapter, Holy Spirit been just pouring more and more and more into me. I can at least speak for myself of, you could have said this. It's more to say, it's more to let people know that they don't have to be bound from their trauma. Yeah. So I definitely agree with you on that. But even when you asked the question about what was our adult, how did us being an adult, how our trauma still showing up? It was, for me, it was showing up in all the areas of my life. You get it? Because I believe that from the fear of being violated at such a young age by my uncle, that me coming to agreement of what I believe. I was, so young, telling myself I wasn't worthy. I was telling myself something was wrong with me. I was telling myself, so as an adult, it was showing out everywhere. It was showing out everywhere. When I tell you, I became addicted, of course, to drugs. I mean, that walk in my life alone, was just, I would never believe Mona would have been smoking crack. I would have never thought Mona would have been smoking crack pregnant. and couldn't been able to stop because of it. I mean, these things, you know, I would have never thought I would never chose for myself, but by not dealing with my trauma, you know, I always learned how to just brush it under the rug and pretend I'm strong, you know, and use aggression. You know, I was more aggressive, you know, and I thought that made people see me as I'm strong. Like, don't mess with me, you know, that type of, you know, mentality. And it didn't work for long.
Yeah.
But I'm so grateful for God and the identity that he made sure that he let me know. He brought me to understand who I am and whose I am. I think that is so important when it comes to this book. For me, it's not about the trauma. I want people to understand it's about who you are. It's about who you are.
Yeah.
Don't identify yourself to the trauma, you know, and that's what I was doing. I was identifying myself to what was happening to me instead of you know, knowing who I am. And I'm so, you know, that was just so big for me of identity, you guys. If you don't hear
you think it was our mindset?
Yeah, it was.
It was the mindset that and so you're not sitting with anyone that hasn't been through it. Yeah, I'm 61. I now have a talk show that's heard all over the country, but people know my story is that I could have been dead, literally, from drunk driving. I had the corporate job, you know, back in, let's see, I want to say it was in 1990 sometime, but worked at a corporate job and, you know, was drinking and listen, I was going to parties every you get off from work, going to the happy hour. But, and I just discovered recently is that trauma has always been around in my family and whatever. So I saw it. So my whole point is liquor was always around in the house, you know, whether it was for Christmas, whether it was anywhere, it was always around. Yeah. But as the young adult, you know, you pick it up and then you just keep on doing it. But my point is that I could have killed someone. I could either die myself or I could have killed someone, and don't know how I got home. And so the point is that, and all of that, that was just that one day. And so what happens about 15 years later, and all of that, God delivered me. He saved me. He sanctified me, filled me with the baptism of the Holy Ghost through all of that. And what happens? I'm standing and I'm teaching at the local jail evangelist. And because God called me into jail prison ministry, I'm teaching. And I'm standing up, and it was as if time and destiny came together. And I literally, while I was teaching, I heard God say, that's why you didn't die. This is why you didn't die. This is why you didn't kill anybody. This is why you're not sitting here. And I'm teaching, and I can literally hear him say that. And my mouth, I'm talking, but all the time I can hear God saying, this is why you didn't die. This is why I didn't kill you. You didn't kill nobody else, you know, because you had to come here to Gulfport, Mississippi to tell your story. And that happened way back in Charlotte, North Carolina. So my point is, been there, done that. And so God. And so as Lisa was sharing, is that, yeah, we have the corporate job. We have all of that. Everything looks good. But I was so broken in the inside. I was so broken. And it just recently, Valerie, let me kind of share this with you, Evangelist. If you have something the Lord's dropping in your spirit, please let me know, chime in. That my aunt who raised me, I saw domestic violence. Now we were the epitome, we were the, you know, oh, okay, I got notifications coming on my phone. So we were the good family, you know, everybody knew we went to church in the whole nine. And but all of this domestic violence was happening in the household my aunt raised me, my father's sister, not my birth mother. So all of this was happening. And then what I realized is that I saw a female being abusive to a male. And then we had to dress up, everybody get in the car, and we went to church. So that was my teaching of learning how to mask. Anybody want to contribute to this? And that you've been there, that you can relate. Chime in, please. But that's what, and here I am now, 61 years old. And I recognized that my aunt wanted to almost commit suicide because she asked us as small children, how would you all feel if I drove across and sat in the middle of the railroad track and the train come across? And I called my sister. I said, do you remember when Ma said that? We were sitting in the car and we were little. She said, no, I don't remember that. But I remember little things like that. What is that? Valerie, come on, talk to me.
Well, I think it was Trarina that mentioned the whole generational, the curses, the strongholds, right? So there are things that happen in our families, right? Patterns and systems and cycles nobody talks about. So I could relate to you in a sense, but it was my biological parents. We didn't go to church, but as a child, I'm looking at this stuff and ain't nobody talking about it. It's just business as usual. Off to school, or mom's leaving and we're going with her. And sometimes mom left and we didn't go with her. But you don't understand any of that as a child. So I remember there's a picture that I have, and I share this picture all the time, of when I was 3. And I'm looking at that picture. And the only thing that kept coming to me was child interrupted. Because as a child, think about it. Before you're even born, right? And say your parents are in domestic violence.
Yeah.
You're in the womb. That your mother, right? We get the emotions. The child, and when you're in the womb, you get all of these emotions, whether they're good or bad, from your parents, whatever they're experiencing. So I'm absorbing even in the womb. But guess what? I understood later on that my mother was only repeating what she witnessed with her parents.
Yes.
Now, I don't know of what my father witnessed because he died early and I never had a chance to really communicate, talk to him, connect about his parents. But long story short, one thing on this journey, what I had to do, I had to go back. And I realized, okay, we're just repeating cycles, what we are accustomed to, what we know. But one thing I knew was I had to stop at some point because I didn't want this for my children. And now I'm a grandmother. I don't want that for my grandchildren. Provided, did I expose them to some things? Absolutely. But when you know better, you must do better. And so, we got to reveal what we've suppressed in order for God to show us how to deal with it so we can heal. Because we want to stop those generational curses and strongholds.
We do. That is so good. I want to acknowledge, again, you all, our dear friend, Johanna, who is a global speaker in St. Croix in the Virgin Islands. She is just, as she was saying, someone on Facebook, they were saying, speak the truth, how powerful. And Sylvia says, God can change your life. Just believe. Just believe. Yes, indeed. And then again, we have go back in Gloria. She was saying, yes, there is more to come. Visionary motivator. Absolutely. Absolutely. Johanna and all of you all. Thank you all for just chiming in. But I just wanted to share you all is that never in my life did I dream. And now I'm sharing that with you all. I'm sharing our stage with you. You're doing phenomenal. And how we, how God has just breathed on our lives.
Ain't he good? Come on now. Come on.
I feel the Holy Ghost. I don't know, but I do. Because if we really look at what we've been and where we've been.
Don't get me started.
We shouldn't be here.
What
God? What God?
And you see, the enemy was trying to take us out long ago for a reason.
Oh God! But he didn't know.
I feel the Lord.
He didn't know.
Y'all come on.
His word shall shall not return void. His word promised that we was gonna be victorious. I mean, God, don't get me started. God is good. When I look over my life, you guys, and there's no way I supposed to be where I'm at right now. You get it? This is all glory be to God.
Glory
Because
goes to him.
It's
Absolutely.
no way. Just even with the confidence that he have given me. I mean, I would have never believed I would be an author.
Yeah.
No way. And I'm not trying to down myself, by saying I am a high school dropout. No GED. You get what I'm saying? But that has nothing to do with his plans that he had for my life.
Amen.
You get what I'm saying?
Amen.
Oh God, that alone, even the identity of wanting me to believe that what I can't do.
Yeah.
You can't do it. Nope, you can't do that. Oh no, you can't do that. You ain't smart enough to do that. Whatever it may be. I'm so grateful for his word that rings true in my heart, in my mind, in my speech, in everything, to let me know that I am who he say I am.
That's right.
I am victorious. I am awesome. I'm amazing. I'm peculiar. I'm unique. I'm all this good stuff that he called me to be.
Yes.
So, but it was no way you could have told me that 20 years ago. I'm gonna keep it real with you. There's no way you probably could have told me that 10 years ago, or even less. But his identity, the identity, just hold tight to your identity. Just please do. Don't let it go for nobody. Don't let it go for nothing. Your identity is precious, it's valuable, and you hold tight to it. And even understanding now that you guys, I'm sorry, I got a little excited. Just this past week on Declare Victory, we was discussing the radical faith in our relationship, and to know that God has faith in me. Wait a minute, I'm still hung up on that. He has faith in us.
That's good.
Like, come on, thank you.
It
changed something in me knowing this. Like, baby Father, because my faith is all in you.
Yeah.
I'm trying to throw my trust all in you and to know what you have in me. And that's because of course, we have an understanding of the Holy Spirit that he have given us. But I don't want to take over your thing, Sandy. I'm sorry. I get a little excited.
I step aside when I see the Spirit of the Lord take over. I just step on the side. That's what I do. It is his show. It is Lisa, and then we're going to
go, Moxie.
Yes, indeed. I want Lisa and Trina come on and share their hearts. And then what we're going to do is we're going to wheel it in. I want you all to just share how, what you're doing. And again, do you want to contribute to anything we've already discussed?
So for me, I am a licensed real estate broker and an investor. Real estate is the tool that I'm using to fuel the passion that I've developed from writing this text. I actually started a nonprofit, and it's called the Passion Project. And so what I'm going to be doing with that is providing resources to other women of color that have been on the similar journey that I've been on, or that are on that journey or have been on that journey. And so what that looks like is we may have some women who are undereducated, financially illiterate, and like high school dropouts like myself. I'm a high school dropout. I did go back and get my GED. I did go back to school, but I got a real estate license, and I got my real estate license actually 3 years after I was homeless for 4 years. I got my real estate license, and I bought my first property. And so real estate has been really catalyst in my financial success and my financial freedom. And so I have a lot to offer someone who may not know that they can use such a simple vehicle to get themselves to the next level. So we're going to have an educational fund that pays for anyone that wants to get into the trades of real estate, being a sales agent, a mortgage broker, an appraiser, a contractor, home inspector, notary signing agent. There's a wealth of different positions someone can get into. High school diploma not required, experience not required. These classes that you can get into, and we'll pay for them to get the licensing to start those careers. The second part of the fund is going to be, because I spent so much time, you know, homeless and financially illiterate and dropped out of school. I learned a lot along the way. The second part of it is going to be to assist with move-in deposits for folks that are looking to rent a property. They may be homeless, they may be working, they may be doing the work, but they need that last little push to just give me a deposit so I can get into the place. I got it from here. Or they may be looking to buy a house and they just need help with closing costs, and so we can help there. So just different things like that. The idea is, because my story is financial illiteracy, homelessness, and lack of education. And so since I've, you know, cultivated some of those things over the years, and I have a blueprint, I developed my passion project from writing this, that this is what I can do to help other women come out of that. And you're coming out of recovery. Now, what do I do? How do I get a job? What do I do? How do I invest in my future, you know, and fast track that? And so I can offer those tools. So that's going to be my contribution. That's my passion. I've been doing it. The funny thing about it is I've actually been doing it. Been doing that for a long time anyway, just because when folks come to me and I have it and I can do it, I've been doing it anyway. So I decided to structure it and set some boundaries with it, you know, a little bit more, and to put myself in a position to where I can help more, because as a single, you know, as one person, using my own personal resources, I only can do so much. I can't do so much, but this did help me decide, you know, turn it into, you know, a nonprofit and get some other resources so that you can help more people. I have a lot of, like I said, it's this tool that I have that I've been granted has done me well.
Yeah.
And I also want to, you know, at some point speak to other women that's going through these challenges and explain the necessity of doing the internal work. I did the exterior work first, but that inside stuff came up real ugly. You know, it came up. And so I do want to make that clear, because we'll go out and women will come out of recovery and they will come out of abusive relationships and they will go get good jobs and nice cars and handbags and jewelry and all of that. Right. But have not done the interior work. That's not the work. That's not it. It's inside. You have to heal. You have to address those trauma, and it'll come up. You'll get the trauma triggers. The trauma triggers will show up. You'll think you're healed and you're like, what's going on here? Like, why is this happening? And then, you know, it's just the trauma triggers. And so each one is something that you need to work on. And so that's kind of where I am. That's what this has done for me and jump started for me.
Mm-hmm. Well, that is amazing. I think I'm on mute. All right. No, I'm not. Okay. All right. Tarina, if you will, and you want to contribute anything last that you want to share with the audience.
Let's get off mute. What I want to share is, if you are experiencing any trauma, don't hold it in. Don't bury it. You know, the trauma. Get the help that you need. Cry out to God. If it's to see a therapist, go see a therapist and get the help that you need to be healed and whole. Yeah, that's what I want to leave.
Awesome. Awesome. And what I want to do is go ahead and allow Matthew, I'll let you talk first, and then I want Valerie to give us our last words. And I do have, before you all, I do want one more thing. Boss Your Lane. You heard me mention visionary author. And Valerie and I know of her, which is Dawn Leak. Well, one of her anthology book projects went and developed into a business summit. I want to share my screen, because if you have not registered, again, I do this because these are some phenomenal people. And anytime they're doing projects, I want to share it with my audience. And so tonight, if you have not registered, I want you to register for this free business summit. It is called Boss Your Lane. Also, the book itself, I always tell people there are 3 books, your top 3 of the year. And this, I want to say, is one of those 3. I've got one more that we're picking and choosing from. But listen, we have already just ended our first quarter. Actually, that was one of the book of last year. I told you all, you need to get this book, Boss Your Lane. Well, now it's a summit. And so I want you to go to, we'll put it inside of the streamer, but you all go to Boss Your Lane on Facebook, and you can follow the link for the summit. It actually is starting Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. To have a better business, better results, better life. The mission of Boss Your Lane Summit is to provide the new entrepreneur with clear and concise advice from experts to achieve ultimate business success. It is absolutely free. This is a free event. And of course, they do have the VIP links that you can. But you see, here is Dawn, so excited. And she has speakers, and you all, it's speakers that you know that are all around. I'm kind of going a little fast here. But you do want to look for this summit. Put it on your schedule. You may not be able to watch all of the speakers, but you will be able to grab something that will fit for what you're doing, and grab some nuggets. If you're wanting to up your business game or make some adjustments to where you are in your entrepreneur world, listen, I would say, yes, check out this summit. It is absolutely free. Some of the speakers, I know I'm sharing my screen here. These are some of the speakers. You're looking at the phenomenal, yes, Dr. Shadaria Allison. Then you have Chandra Pointer. Then you have Tamika Hall. Those are just a few of them. Then we have Irma Matos. You need to hear her story. Then you have Tion Singletary. You have Reverend Allison G. Daniels out of Maryland. Then you also have Becky Barton. So these are just a few of them. I will be speaking as well, yours truly, and we'll be talking on despise not the small beginnings. Why? Because you just never know who is watching. That's the key right there. Despise not those small beginnings, because you just never know who's going to be watching you. And that's a story within itself of how I end up sitting here and we are reaching the international waters with our show. And I'm so excited. Book Talks with Sandy. I'm going to now ask the publisher of this amazing book. And then from there, I always yield back and allow the visionary author to have the last words. So if you will, Mr. Matthew.
Hey, all right. So life is only for a moment. You get one life to live. So go ahead and live that life. Don't look at what the next person is doing or what some negative friend has told you. Live your life for you, because you only get one. If you are broken, if you are still hurting and still going through that trauma, my nonprofit Infinite Power Project, we help women, men, and children empower themselves and move on and heal. You all don't know how good it feels to be whole and to be free. Self-care and love yourself. So many people will never understand that, because it's all about the mindset. Mindset is everything. You have to learn how to let things go, heal, and forgive, and believe in yourself. It all starts with you. If you don't believe in yourself, nobody else will. There's nothing anybody can tell me that will deter me from doing God's work. His work is speaking through me. And I'm doing everything I can to fulfill my purpose and my destiny in this life. Because once I am gone, the works I've done will speak for me. I'm all about healing, helping other people live, fulfill their purpose, and keep on loving themselves. It's all about you. So if you have a story to tell, you want to get that story out there, help other people live their life and overcome things, we can help you publish your book, market, advertise, whatever you need. It's a one-stop shop. So you have to be able to lift yourself up. If you are ready, go to ANMproductions.biz and reach out.
That is phenomenal. Thank you so much. You heard it from the publisher of this phenomenal, yes, a #1 Amazon bestseller, which is called From Trauma to Drama to Truth. Now at this time, as we yield back, we are now going to hear from the visionary author. I do want to take a moment and just thank each and every author of this amazing book that have graced our table on tonight. The phenomenal evangelist Tarina Jackson, yes, Lady Ramona, Bridget, and Lisa Trinell. Am I getting that right? And yes, we also have Matthew. And I did have a streaming across. We do have one more author that was not able to join us on this evening, but we do have all of the authors that are showing up here across the bottom of your screen. We want to give a great big shout out of thank you for being on Book Talks with Sandy. At this time, we're going to yield back and hear from the visionary author of this amazing book, From Trauma to Drama to Truth.
Amen.
Yes.
Well, first, I want to say thank you, Sandy, for having us. This has been a wonderful experience. Thank you to my friends, co-authors. I'm very grateful to be on this journey with you all. And again, just to encourage anyone, if you have experienced trauma, if you are currently in some type of trauma and drama, allow God to reveal it. Allow God to show you how to deal with it so that you can go on the journey to healing. As Matthew said, we are healed and we are whole. God has something for you to do while you are yet here for a limited time only. What you have went through, what you are experiencing is not just for you. Walk in forgiveness, walk in love. It's really about loving yourself. It's about healing and self-care. And when you get to that place, it's a beautiful place to be because, again, there's more. There's more. Whatever you've been through, whatever you're going through, know that God has something for you. It's all about purpose, moving in purpose, on purpose for God's huge purpose. Feel free to reach out to me. I am the visionary also and the creator of Own Your Truth and Rise. Again, own your truth. Walk in your destiny. I believe Ramona said it. We are fearfully and wonderfully made, created in the image of God. God knew us while we were yet in our mother's womb. So there is purpose on the inside of each and every one of us. Reach out to me. I would love to work with you, to encourage you, to inspire you, and to help pull purpose out. That is something that that's a gift that God has given me. So keep your faith, walk in your truth, and rise to the queen that you are, rise to the king that you are. There is so much more. And again, thank you, Sandy, for having us. Truly appreciate it. And I do believe that this is the beginning. We are not done.
Absolutely.
It is not over.
Absolutely. Well, it has been my pleasure, each and every one of you, for gracing our virtual table of Book Talks with Sandy. Listen, next time I come out to the California area, I will definitely be looking y'all up. I love San Diego. My son is out there. So the West Coast, I love for sure. For sure. So thank you all for joining us. Again, thank you all for tuning in for a special night of Book Talks with Sandy. We do our very best to bring you authors, visionary authors, and the contributing authors that share their story. They share their triumphs. They share their pain, their purpose. And so for tonight has been no short of that. We thank God for his presence showing up on tonight. Truly, when he does that, he gets all the glory. And as always, you guys know that I love you. Do look out for us on Saturday at 3:00 p.m. for our usual broadcast. And we will be replaying some of the best shows that we've had throughout the beginning of this year. I'm looking forward to you all looking at some of the replays and exciting things. So thank you all for tuning in to Book Talks with Sandy and our special edition of our show on tonight. Again, thank you. Have an amazing evening. And as always, have a blessed night. Okay. All right.
You
Take
too.
care.
God bless you.